What a time to be alive, the age of information. So many people questioning creation. Come, take a seat or step outside to have a conversation. Let's listen, observe, and respond with compassion and truth. And we're back. Another episode of the Fearless Shepherds podcast, episode number 18. I'm joined with a beacon of light, Mr. Mihael. And last name is?
Nad.
Nad.
Yes, it comes from the Hungarian, and then the original is Nagy, but then because my father's side was a Hungarian who moved to Croatia, and the Croatian changed this, and now it's Nagy.
Incredible.
Yes.
And so your father's side moved to Croatia.
Exactly. When my father was a kid, they moved from Hungary to Croatia.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother is from?
My mother is from Croatia. She's born in Croatia. And my parents moved in the early 70s to Germany, like migrations all over in Europe to work in Germany.
And you were born in Germany?
I'm the first generation born in Germany. Migration kid, yeah.
What was it like growing up in Germany?
So back in the days, I'm honest, we had everything. So the material world was full packed of everything we need and more than we need. So I'm glad to grown up there. It shows me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a time of fullness, I would say.
Yeah, it's always beautiful to... What I love about Los Angeles is you meet people from so many stretches of the earth. Mm-hmm. And I remember the day that we met about 6 months ago. We were down in Palos Verdes area playing basketball with Timothy Mozgov and a couple of other really amazing basketball players. And exactly. I just remember you're a strong man. You have a great physique.
I try.
And I just remember, like, I hope he's on my team. And I think we were on the same team.
We were in the same team,
and
yeah.
we were really competing. And I love to play basketball. I love to compete. I love that brotherhood. And something that stuck out about you was you're very camaraderie. You had a great competition kind of aura about you. But we sat down at a cafe after playing basketball. And all of us were going around sharing a little bit about who we were. And what stuck out to me about you is, yes, you're strong in regards to your physique, but what showed strength was your ability to open up about your vulnerabilities and your trauma and some of the things that most people would not open up about in the first time that they're sitting down with people. And I know that for me personally, I've always been taught that strength is your physical prowess, your ability to swallow your emotions. And as a man, it's not really looked at as strong to share emotions. And this podcast is so much about what divine masculinity looks like and what divine looks like in general in the balancing of our feminine and our masculine, both as males and females. So for you, stepping into a new environment with new people, having just moved here, you moved here 8 months ago.
Exactly.
So that was maybe a month or two after you had moved here from Germany.
You guys was the first people I met here in Venice, and it was very powerful.
What would you say was the driving force behind you opening up the way that you did? And is that something that you've always done, or did you feel in that moment?
It was really a special circle of people who give me a very, very trustful feeling, so a safe space. I was really feeling this. Here I can speak, and I will be understood. The reason why we met there at the game was it was like a crowdfunding for a startup investment, and I had already this intention. But I need an investor, so it was like everything. It was really, really powerful how things happen one day after another. I met people, and these people bring me to these people, to these people. So it was, I was feeling like I need to be here.
Right.
It's everything is how it should be, and yeah.
I always say that fate is a fact that is in waiting. So when you put two hands on the wheel of your self-determination, a lot of times you're going to try and pry the ways that you think your life should move, and sometimes it'll drive you away from where Spirit's moving you. Would you say that Spirit led you from Germany to the States? What was the kind of the catalyst of you leaving your home country and wanting to come to America?
So now after 8 months, I'm definitely sure, and I learned to listen to this voice and to this powerful energy who I'm yeah to listen to it. So the reason why I came here is simple. I was in a place stuck where I shouldn't be anymore for a long time. So Germany is a great place, but for me was not the place anymore I should be. There was no growth for me. A lot of things happened there, and it was for me the time to move on. And when I was younger, I had this voice, and I wanted to go out in the world, but there was too much fear. A lot of people around me. I was a person, I never did things. I always talked to people, and then people was always find reasons why not to do something. So, but in the end was like this. I was getting sick, and I really was feeling it's time to leave. And especially I was in a relationship 5 years. This relationship ends. Everything comes on point, and I manifested my trip here 2 years ago. So I really saw myself here in California. I really saw it, smell it, and it was for me sure. There was no way off, and I forgot about it. And last year in March, I was traveling with a very close friend and partner. We drive every year with bikes across Europe. It calls the Freedom Ride. It's for world peace and the legalization of cannabis in Europe. And on this tour, I think we was in Albania, 3,000 miles driving, and I get a phone call if I want to come here to California, and I was no, that's it.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
That's the ticket, and it took me 2 weeks to cut off everything, sell everything, and come here.
It's so beautiful to see that in our timing, things take a long time to manifest. In God's timing, things can happen in a week or two, where your entire surroundings change for the betterment of your spiritual evolution, and kind of that aspect of fate versus free will, of you with your free will in Germany were doing things that felt like stagnant and felt like they weren't fulfilling your purpose. And there was something calling you to the States. And I think it was really interesting how the fate brought you to a space where there's so much happening in regards to spiritual evolution and physical evolution.
I'm honest, so I was very, very depressed, and it was for me, it was very, very hard. So that really to get up from the bed to do during the day. So there was a lot of addictions and stuff, and when I came here, it was like a compromised. So childhood dreams come true. I met amazing people, what I was searching my whole life, but now I understand I don't search, I attract them. So also, it's true, when you start changing and shifting, everything around you start changing and shifting. And
that mindset is something that is so difficult to adopt if you're not ready to get uncomfortable. And I think the aspect of changing your mindset comes from repetition and knowing that failure is a part of the process.
So for me, it was like this. I was trying out over the years. So I really was trying out to be a different kind of humans.
Yeah.
and I saw what it brings to be this different kind of humans, and I was always, I will say, a little bit different than the other people. It starts with the age of 2 months, where I can really very, very clear see everything, remember
You
everything.
can remember at 2 months.
Yeah. My mother was shocked. My mother shocked because she cannot believe this. But when I told her everything, so it was really happening. All that stuff.
Wow.
Also, how I looked through these eyes and saw this world. It was for me the feeling I'm long here, but it was a conscious who is there is no ego. It's just observing. It's amazing, and all this remembering more and more brings me back to my who I'm really am I, because I lost myself in the past, especially in relationships and partnerships and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shifting, and I'm very grateful for all these experiences,
Yeah.
especially the dark ones.
Totally. And I think that's in church and in some of the religious aspects of our communities, the talk of darkness and the talk of things that invoke fear are brushed aside. And to circle back to when we first met, for you to jump straight into the darkness and reveal to us that you have an angelic light to you, but through the darkness you were able to transmute and become this beacon of light. In that moment, if you can share with listeners whatever you feel comfortable sharing, what were some of the things that you had to go through, and what was the revelation that you had in coming to forgiveness for others and self, and how did that over time lead you to take big leaps of faith, like move across the world to follow your dreams and listen to that inner voice that's telling you you have a purpose much greater than staying comfortable?
So it was yesterday. Also, a very close friend said to me, we had a interesting conversation, and he has a little bit of different side of the world, but it's this makes it so special when everybody accepts the other ones. And he said, Mihael, there is no demons, there are just hurt people. And
Oh yeah.
it was so powerful how he said this, and it's really, when I look now, I see just hurt people around me.
Yep.
And when you feel pain by yourself, then you can feel pain in others. So when I was young, teenager, especially the mid-20s, was very, very hard. So I tried 2 times to kill myself when I was younger. It was a hard time because I didn't have knowledge. That everything around happens, but you don't have knowledge and you don't know what's going on. Especially when you grow up in a family who are not really conscious, so because they don't learn it.
Right.
Also,
it's just
like
been
that.
passed down
It's
generation
everything. It's
to generation.
programs, running programs. And when you understand all these system patterns, how everything works, then it's so easy, and you there is no reason to judge or to be angry or something like that. And so my highest intention that I have in life is to help to heal the world. So this is my highest intention, and the only reason is because I see how beautiful and how powerful it is, and it starts with ourselves. So
Amen.
I was trying in the past to change the people and change the old world and try to find answers in the outside, but there was no answers. It was just get worse and worse. People go away, people start judging and all that stuff. But the most important thing is to be able to understand these things. And when you're able, so I call it the awakening. So people have different words for this. For me, it's the awakening, the point when you start realizing what's happening around you and why you are so how you are. So it's as simple as that. And when you start realizing this, and you need to research. So I spent really a lot the last 6 years daily reading books and listen to podcasts and hear books and different, in my opinion, people who are really angels, and just the way how they speak, they change so much and help people understand what's going on.
Right.
But the most important thing is that everybody has his time, and you cannot force something. So this is what I also had to learn, because sometimes it was hard to accept things. So
Yeah, when I think about you saying that you had angels inspire you, and then it's not really demons, it's hurt people. To me, it's like the angel and demon thing isn't really it. It's hurt and healed people.
exactly.
So people who take the time to heal themselves have angelic-like qualities because they've gone through the fire, they've done the work on themselves to forgive, and then to take that healing and share it, not hoard it. So for you to feel what it was that you've gone through, and rather than hold resentment and continue cycles, or come from a family that's not conscious and repeat that unconscious behavior with another partner, creating another cycle. I think that's, I've shared this a lot with my story on this podcast of coming from a similar environment where my parents were only doing the best that they knew how to do, to then have this opportunity to either repeat cycles or end them, comes from a transparency with yourself. You have to study self and understand the pain that comes from within. How am I going to, rather than run from this, run towards it, and then confront the people that have wronged me with love rather than with resentment?
Now I get in this moment something from above, because you said it good. You cannot run away. So, and this is why I was not ready in the past to move on, because the intention was to run away from all this.
Right.
Especially when I came here, I was the first 3 months up in North California, Mendocino County, and it was for me, it was a shocking moment, because my father's brother, there was a lot of happening. So he did a lot of violent things in family and all that stuff. So I had I was hating this person. Later I forgive him and myself and all that stuff.
Wow.
And I was thinking, okay, it is, because they say you can just imagine you hug somebody and forgive him and then it's good. And I was thinking it is good. I was not thinking about that. And then I came in this forest, and the man I was living with, he was looking like him, he was speaking like him, he was acting like him, and I was thinking, what is going on here? This cannot be. It's just English, just the language is different, but it was really interesting. And then I learned, okay, now I have the chance to clean out all this and see, because it will follow you everywhere.
Right.
You see other people, and acting, speaking triggers you, what is inside of you, but this person have nothing with this,
With your
and
past.
and it's very interesting. So
it's like until you learn the lesson, God is going to continually
he just
present
he
you.
looks how okay, where are you now? It just gives you all the time just to show, okay, you're not ready, you need a couple of years, and then it's good,
Right.
because it's up to you. I found out when you have an intention for something or a passion, you don't need to think about this. It's happens.
Yep.
And so I gone through a lot of, I will say, experience that was holding me down in a very, very low vibration since my early childhood. So I grew up in a very difficult time, because it was the Cold War. Then was in Germany was a little bit tricky. Then it starts the Yugoslavian War, 91, where our family members was involved, and was very. So, and when you grow up as a child, especially my parents was running hospitality, so I was always around people who was drinking, smoking, all that stuff,
Right.
but in a very young age. So I
Yep.
think I had my first cigarette with 3 years in my mouth. And
3 years old?
Yeah, 3 years old. It's
Jeez.
nothing what is cool. I just tell because I know there are outside so much people who have this experience that they get a little bit liquor with as a charges, because these adults are in a state of conscious. They absolutely don't see what they do.
And in an environment of war,
Exactly.
it's very difficult to
the
see
energy
optimism.
it was a very, very low energy. So
Yeah.
it was fear, it was violence, punishment, force. And so this was really, of course, I felt love, but I'm honest, I was never feeling this safeness, never. So I never felt home, or it was a very difficult thing because yeah, there was so much going on in this family. Oh, I think
I think that's a huge reason why a lot of people feel discomfort in certain environments of spirituality, because there can be so much judgment and fear that's thrown at you when all you're trying to do is heal.
Exactly.
In order to heal, you have to feel love from a space of unconditional, and sometimes that is tough love, but to be able to receive it rather than getting preached at, being around people who embody what it is that they're preaching. And so with the kind of what it is that we're embodying is this spirit movement that allows people to see our spiritual self, not from the mind, like you just said. When you're in your mind, you're conceptualizing and analyzing and judging and critiquing all the aspects of your surroundings rather than just simply being your surroundings. And then that surrounding is internal before it's external. So if you can't even enter your internal surroundings without fear or lack or scarcity, you're never going to go internally. You're stuck in the mind, which then becomes chaotic. It becomes schizophrenic. It becomes...
And I had this, I had really, this is why I have, I would say, a very, very powerful tool now, because I was going through these different states of mental diseases and illnesses.
Yeah.
So I know what it means when you have different voices in your head, when you have very anxiety, when you have not schizophrenia, when you are
bipolar?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's very interesting when you reflect and when you're able. Now I'm very able to see so much things
And to heal yourself.
and to heal. I mean, I'm still on my healing journey, and I will take the time it takes.
Right.
But the most important thing is that I heal through other people. And the more I spend time with people, especially now here where I was the last 6 months in this place, this hostel I managed, it was very interesting for me because I had the opportunity to see so much different triggers that I have in myself, and then really to use this gift and clean it out. And it works really, really good. And I see how the people react and respond, because people start changing around me. At first they hate, it was kind of hate because they don't understand certain things, but at the, just let, and everything comes how it should come, because when you see love, there cannot be hate. As simple as that. And then you need to be patient and don't expect nothing from nobody.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful tightrope walk of love and hate, and realizing that there's a beautiful balance between love that is not sharp versus love that is all-encompassing. So the love that is all-encompassing, sometimes people can see that as weakness and you can get taken advantage of. But love that is sharp, you're able to hold a mirror up to people who want to try and take advantage of you, to show them the emptiness that they have within their heart space. And so I think there's such a beautiful opportunity in this global awakening, in this global ascension, in this spiritual movement that's happening at a global scale for people who maybe aren't in Los Angeles, that are in Germany, Croatia, China, anywhere in the world, to rally around love.
It's a fact that we have on this planet places that are comprimated in this kind of energy. And for me, Venice is, or LA is a kind of this place.
It's a vortex for sure.
You have
It's a
here
portal.
this amounts of duality,
Definitely.
and also the communities,
Definitely.
like your community. It's so powerful, and I think it will be growing so fast in the next months and years, because it's real, it's authentic. There is
Yeah.
nothing what needs to be faked or something. It's pure love, and I think this is the key.
Yeah. It's truly what
And this
when,
what makes or gives me, when I met you and the other guys, this safe space to talk about my darkest experiences. So this is one of the points in my life where I want to fight for, because child abuse or sexual abuse on childs is a big thing in the world, but nobody speaks about it.
right?
And when you understand that so much young people who happens or have this experience, and they try to talk about it, imagine a father touched the daughter, and the daughter tried to tell the mother what's happened, and the mother cannot believe, because first it's too painful, or it's a shame, or just think it's a lie or something like that. But what you do to the kid, you break this kid, because you're the only person you should be the person with the biggest trust.
Right.
And in the most cases, like in my case, when I was 6 years old, I was raped by my older
Jeez.
cousin. It was the time when the war was going on in Croatia, so they came as refugees to Germany, to us, and it was all in a big house, a lot of people. Yeah, you know, that the thing is, it was not bad for me in this time, because I was a child, and it was like a game.
Right.
So I didn't really understand what's going on. It was the shame when I was 14, 15 years old, and I remembered, because I forget it really quick as a child. I was
Right.
5, 6 years. I forget it really quick. And then at one point, a teenager pops it up, and whoa,
Yeah.
really shame. So, and then it starts in your head, everything, because you're a teenager. There you start. So when you don't have hold and a stable base, what I didn't have, yeah, I would say there starts the problems.
Right.
And yeah, it was for me. So I didn't speak about it till I was 25,
Wow.
and then it was a very hard lesson for me. But I did. It was like this. My grandmother raised me, because my parents had hospitality. They were always working when I was a child. So my grandmother raised me, and she was the most lovely person in my life, because when I was a child, with the eyes from the eyes as a child. When you grow up, sometimes things change because you see different. But at this point, so when I was 25, I was telling this my grandmother, and I thought, this is always when you expect what will come back, and something complete different come back, then you're shocked. So this is why you never should expect anything from
Right.
nobody. And it was my grandmother, and the thing was, I was telling her this, And it was like, oh, these things happen more, not just me. And the only thing she was saying, Mihael, please don't tell nobody this. And this was it. And I was thinking, huh? And it was just the shame of the name and all,
Yeah.
So then I realized how tricky the situation is for a young, damaged personality and mind and all that stuff. So
Right.
um, it took me a long time to figure all this out, especially the emotions. And I was a very labeled person, so I was addicted to drugs, to alcohol, and all that stuff. So I lose so many jobs. My life was always a chaos, always, and it needs just a little bit. When I have my path or something goes right, just a little bit, something happens, boof, everything breaks down,
Right.
and every time again. So, yeah, there is so much stuff to tell, but I try to comprimate it, because the end of all these stories was that I packed my stuff, go on, and this is the reason why, to clear all these things out, to speak with other people about this, because for me the greatest way to heal is to speak with other people
Mm.
and to show, hey, you are not alone. I exactly know what's going on, what especially for young girls and stuff. I mean, also for men,
Yeah.
you're but
I love what you said about, it's not evil, it's hurt people.
it's hurt people,
And
and
so
people
this
do
this
do
the
things.
spaces.
People do things. We live in a very sick society. The porn industry. So I was trying to find out why people doing this, or why he was doing this.
Right.
This goes so far that because he killed himself after he shot in his head
Jeez.
a couple years ago, when after it comes out that I was not the only one,
Wow.
his own niece and all that stuff. So I think he couldn't
Live with himself.
will live with the shame, because when I was 15 and I visited him in Croatia, I was just saying like this. We was in a room with the other cousins and stuff, and I was the youngest, and I just say, hey, you're gay, huh? You're gay. And he's looking at me, I think he exactly knows what's going on. But he was telling me back when I was, this is a secret, don't tell nobody. And he was thinking, hey, nobody knows.
Right.
And yeah, and I think after that, he was shot in his head, and was that I was bringing him to his grave with the other cousins and all that stuff.
Wow.
So it was, yeah, yeah.
That's one of those things where if you don't heal yourself, like we were talking about with cycles, if you just continue to repeat the cycles of hurt, it's going to get to a point where there's nothing left to help you. It's like God gives the hand to assist you until you slap it away so many times that aspect of nothing, of not feeling any form of support, which that makes me dive deep into one of the existential questions that I've always wondered of heaven and hell. And like the hell being the existence that we create here on earth through the choices that we make.
I have the same aspect, that heaven and hell is here on earth.
Right.
Imagine, so I believe in reincarnation, and imagine you did a lot of negative karma, and you are reborn on a trash field in Somalia as a child and just thrown away, and need to grow up in this with
Yeah, I mean,
this
that's
is hell.
happening today.
That's hell on earth.
Truly.
So, and people just, this is why.
It's devastating though, because you want in the human heart, we want to have compassion for any suffering. So if there's suffering with one person, we're all suffering. So the heaven that I believe is possible here on earth is where all of us are able to heal, all of us are able to see the wants that our heart has and the needs that are met. Our spiritual needs are met. If we wake up with air in our lungs and we're able to move our bodies and we're surrounded by people and we have food in our fridge, like, our needs are more than met.
Of course.
We're stuck in a society that is infatuated.
That's the
with
biggest
wants.
that's the biggest aspect in my opinion, because you see the whole community and more people start recognizing what just breathing can do. Simple breathing.
That's why
People
breathwork
forget
is blowing
everything.
up right now.
People forget everything.
Yeah.
How, and that's and how powerful this is, and especially this healing. So
Right.
I see it by myself, because I heal more and more, and I think that the balance, the harmony, that all that, especially this toxic environment, people stay with their knowledge in toxic environments their whole life and think this is right, this is how it should be. I'm a good person when I will doing this all stuff. So
Right.
there is so much things we should change, or maybe start educate different. So it's a very important thing that people start really changing their mind and aspects to see what they're able.
I mean, that's why we created a space, a home, a
Exactly.
community
And
around health and wellness and spirituality, is because it is vital for us to come together and, like you said, share our pains, our vulnerabilities, and the chains that hold us back from true sovereignty. Because alone, in my opinion, deception starts to play its way into your mind of, you're the only one that's gone through sexual abuse. You're the only one that has gone through shame. You're the only one that will ever have to deal with lack. And those things start to become crippling, and then you start to believe them, in which case you alienate yourself and isolate even more. To be able to have a space where you can come, whatever your skin color, whatever your religious belief, whatever, as long as you're respectful of
Exactly.
people's space and you're respectful of the energetics of the space, all are welcome.
this is why for me, when I met you the first time, I never saw. So I was working 15 years in nightlife, in clubs, discotheques. So I have very, very much contact to people.
Yeah.
But I never had that experience that strangers give you so much hold and see you and share love, and just because they see, it was for me really one of the beautifulest moments in my life, and it gives me so much power. And just because I was starting to don't believe that this exists, that is this,
Yeah.
this was like, because I was searching for this my whole life, and now I know I was searching, but I was not ready, because I was not like this. So
Right.
I can't met this kind of people who give me this feeling right now. But since I met you guys, I believe more also in myself, and see that I'm not my past anymore, that I'm not this person who did things and hurt people and go through experiences because I didn't know better in this time.
Right.
It was just how much I could respond in this time, and in the most cases I was trying out like a child, coping. So I had also a time, sometimes they say you need to be an asshole that the woman loves you and all this stuff, and I try and see, no, that's not, absolute not. And
it's
so
only
I was
attracting more of that
really
to you.
going through these different types of stereotypes,
Yeah.
and this is why I would say I love to see, and now the knowledge it's more and more, and I understand. This is why it makes so easy. And now I sit down somewhere and just listen, and you can listen so much, and okay, and this makes so beautiful and powerful also.
Right. Heaven is the now.
Yeah.
Heaven is all around us if we choose that experience. And the revelation I had in the middle of COVID, I mean, if you were in Los Angeles during COVID, you know what type of hell was going on. And I was calling out to God, just like, am I supposed to be here? Like, what is going on? And how can I change the world. I want to change the world. I want to save the world. And God just came over my spirit and let me know, let me worry about the world. You focus on yourself. And then slowly allow that to ripple outward to your family, your friends, your community.
Oh, beautiful.
Start
how you
inward
say this, yeah.
and work outward. And it was like this beautiful moment of freedom of knowing it's not my job to save the world.
Exactly.
It's my duty to save myself from torment, fear, and that feeling of being lost, no direction.
Same.
And so it was a revelation for me to say, okay, I'm going to build a gym in my backyard. I've been locked up in the house. I can't go to the gym. I'm going to build a gym in my backyard. Okay, what else can I do? I'm going to start holding Bible studies. Just bring people who, if you're not a Christian and you don't believe in Christ or you don't believe in the Bible, you can still come. I made it in all walks. People come and we just talk. Start to feel spirit move. Started to have the dinners. People gather around food. It doesn't matter what you do,
Yeah.
what grudges you hold. You'll break bread with people, and then you can hold your grudges later. We were doing outdoor activities, hosting workouts, hosting cold plunges, like anything in regards to health, wellness, spirituality. I started to create.
Exactly, and it's the most beautiful thing is the real intention is to help people.
Yeah.
And this is the purest intention that you can have as a human being, or or not just people, every living being.
Right.
Because it's a compromised place of lovely, soulful people who are so conscious and really try to work on themselves and help others if they need help, and this is it's beautiful.
I like what you just said there, of not, because I would take it upon myself of wanting to save the world, but if people aren't ready to be helped, if they're not asking for help, you can't help them. As a matter of fact, it's a hindrance to your light.
You lose energy, people was distancing from me.
Yeah.
Because this is exactly what happens when you go one step in their direction, they go one step back. So all these learning processes, because you just want good, but you see, okay, and this is why it makes so interesting when you have this knowledge and experience. Sometimes things what makes no sense or you don't know, it's so clear.
Right.
And then you are, so for me, it's I think the beautiful moments when I put this puzzle, every time I put this puzzle in this big picture in my head, it's so beautiful because click, oh, I'm a next level, and I see how you say, especially now in goats and in the gym.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, it's your shining. It's your shining, and you don't need to speak a lot. Absolutely no. So this
embody, don't preach.
So
embody.
Exactly.
It's letting go of the wheel, which is the biggest practice of faith. I want to backtrack a little bit. You said you believe in reincarnation.
Yes.
We spoke earlier about your belief in God or an energy. This podcast, I talk a lot about spirituality, and I talk from a place of knowing that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up here in the mind, we want to grasp onto something as real so that we can define ourselves off of it.
Exactly.
And so many people in religion are so afraid of what they've grasped onto being wrong that they cast judgment on anything that does not hold true to their belief. And my soul hears what you've said about reincarnation, and I can see where you're coming from.
So
so I'd love to hear more about
it's definitely a main part in my life because I come from a family Christian, especially the Catholic Church in Croatia. It's very powerful, but my grandmother raised me, and she was when she was a child, when she was young, she was Catholic. But then she turned to the Evangelion Church because this was how she explained me. She was very poor, so my grandmother was sleeping on dry grass, don't have electricity, no water, and very, very, very poor. And father was alcoholic and all that stuff. So And when she go to church, she had her best clothes, but the other was laughing and look with the finger on her and all that stuff. And then she saw all the gold in the church and all that stuff, and some things didn't make sense for her, so she changed.
Yeah.
And so I think my grandmother read the book 500,000 times over and over and over again, and she always told me she read always a new book. Now I understand, because when you grow with the time, you learn about things and you have different viewings. You can see different. So you read the same book over and over again, and you read always a different book.
Right.
And the thing is, this was my first contact with when I was 3 years old. I remember I had very, very, very scary nightmares. The reason was I was in contact with horror movies like Chucky and this, like this, that with two or three years old. So, and I had this very, very horrible dreams, and I saw shadows in my room.
Yeah.
So I really saw shadows. I felt touches on my. I go under the sheet and under the. So I told this my grandmother. My grandmother. There I learned the prayer Holy Father on German.
Yeah.
So, but she gave me a Bible for children, and so I came in this contact, and I saw the Old Testament, New Testaments with pictures and all that stuff, and I was addicted to some kind of things. It was very, very powerful for me.
Yeah.
Later, I had my issues with all that stuff, because my best friend died in my arms when I was 18. At this time I was very angry, and I was very, very
just questioning God.
Yeah.
Why
exactly. I was screaming to him, and I was all that stuff. So but I would say like this, Jesus had always a very main part in my life, because when I was reading about Jesus and his life path and all that stuff, was for me sure, okay, that's me. I want this. This is the way I want to live.
Totally.
And I believe Jesus was the perfect example. So it just wants to show what is every human being able to. What is possible for all of us. Yes. So, but when you say this to a normal Christian, you are blasphemy, because you cannot just only God and Jesus can this, nobody else. And here it starts the difference between
the wars that we've had since the beginning.
Exactly. So it was for me clear. Okay, I understand, and I understand how clear you need to be and what you need to do, all that aspects and stuff. And the more and more I understand in which kind of world we live, how intoxicated we are. So everything is connected, and sometimes in my head I understand this, and I understand 20 other things, because it's all together connected. Everything makes sense in the end. And so I'm always in contact with somebody. I told you at one time in a negative way, but the most time in the guiding and in a spiritual way. I was talking with mediums. I was talking to people who just really give me, for me personally, the proof. Okay, everything is how it is. And then I go back to this age of 2 months. Everything makes sense that I was living before, and it was just okay. I'm back again. Okay, but this it's really this. So I feel this.
I want to say that I've had that experience, and I can't feel a past life. I've never been able to, because I've spoke with people who have shared that, and I'm like, I've tried to meditate on a past life. I've tried, and nothing comes up. But I'm fascinated with it, because
quantum hypnosis is a very, very powerful way to go back in your past lives.
Very interesting. Because it's one of those things, like I feel like you die, and you go to whatever, whatever heaven is, whatever the spiritual cosmos is, where your spirit, it never dies. It just goes back.
It's a shift of energy, and it's the frequency you are when you die. When you are in a low frequency dying, like my grandfather, who was very scared to die, we was passing, he was cancer, and I remember what he was telling me, what he see when he was dying, and it was a dark, cold place. And this is how I understand it for myself. When we are dying and we are in a low frequency like fear, hate, or this, all these people go in the same place,
right?
Like all other, it's attraction.
Dude, that just made me have a visualization of D-Day, and like you're in a space of war and death and fear, and you're dead. You're dying in those areas.
Exactly.
You're going to this space, and the reason why the earth hasn't ascended is because we're still doing these things based around fear. The thing that's going to evolve us and ascend us towards a golden age is love.
Exactly. This is why many souls from the Second World War or the Great Wars, where millions of people are dying in this state of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's very hard for them to reincarnate again, because it can took a long time to clean out this.
So you think they're stuck in like a spiritual realm?
Exactly, yeah.
And is that where like dark spirits come
to
the earth?
This is exactly how I see.
That's freaking gnarly.
And yeah,
I feel as though, in my opinion, God is all powerful. So in the aspect of God, what does that mean to you? Is there an omnipotent God that has the aspect of creator, or is that something that I'd love to hear your opinion on, because it's something that, like, I think of when I grew up, I was taught in the Christian, belief that there's this this being, this like man that lives in the clouds, has a long beard, and is the God, And as I've evolved and I've learned and I've experienced, to me it feels more of this thing that isn't. It's nothing that we can imagine.
I could never imagine. They tried me also. Like my grandmother had this thing, so like a big
old white man, Santa Claus in the clouds.
Exactly. But I honestly, I never was in this state. Somebody told me also in a very young age that God is everything. It was a Muslim, I remember, and from his aspect, God is in everything. So God is this grass and this and this tree and this and this. So, but
that's powerful.
We live now in a time, especially social media, is a very powerful thing, because I believe all children, especially the babies who are now born, are old souls who are incarnate, because we are really in a time there's going a lot of things going on right now, and a lot of these souls are able to remember in young ages who they are. And the funny thing is, I believe a couple of them have Instagram accounts, like there's a guy he called Indigo Bruno, a young, maybe 18, 19 years old, but he speaks with a form of intelligence and how so his channel is just about to prescribe what we are, all that stuff. It helps me a lot, because I listen and I trust to my inner voice. So I don't care what people say. I have this inner, so I see things and listen, and then I see it's fake or it's right. It's fake, it's right. So it's
that
very
inner compass.
So, and it's definitely one source, one creator. But this creator creates so much different things, and that it's not just we, not just we humans.
And I think it's our mind is so funny, because it wants to have an answer to everything, and so we're constantly trying to find the answer to God and to our experience here and what we're really doing here, which will lead to my next question. But it's really not up to us to know. And that
What
takes us out of the
what changes
experience.
when you know? What changes? It's just we always want to know things.
Yeah.
It's like a child, no? So something you don't understand, you want to understand
And
what
on
is
top
it.
of that, the human ego wants to be right.
Exactly.
So not only do we want to know, but we want to be right in what we know. And anyone who doesn't have our know is wrong.
And you see, you said it really good. This is a big thing, especially with COVID. In my experience
Oh
in
my
Germany,
gosh.
you have this kind of people who was not able to see what's going on, and they was judging people who was see what's going on, and because they don't have a choice, or they was thinking they don't have a choice, and maybe it's the vaccine or what this is, but these people who was laughing and showing with the finger on other people after 4 years, maybe, God bless them souls, lost somebody and saw, okay, it's really, I couldn't
We've been
see,
manipulated.
but the shame is so big that they will die before they say, I'm sorry. And this is a big problem,
It's
you
a
know?
huge problem.
It's a huge problem that the ego and the fear of somebody, oh shit, I was wrong. For me, it's very powerful when I see I'm wrong, because how you say, especially when you're a big guy and stuff, and say and you see you're wrong, and you go to somebody, say, that's power. That's so much power.
It's like I shared with you when I first met you. It wasn't your physique. Your physique is powerful. It's beautiful. That's awesome. You being able to get vulnerable and share what your struggles were and how you were overcoming them, that was power beyond, that's godly power in my opinion.
Because it's important for me that people understand why am I, because maybe, I mean, you see, we all have traumas and we all dealing with some kind of things, and right. I know some things are not how it could be, and I'm not this person how I want to be, you know. So I try to explain that people understand, oh, okay, maybe this is this, but I learn more and more I don't need to explain this, because it's all part of this journey to become this
right.
person who you should become. So everything what happens in your life is good.
Yes.
I mean, good and bad, it's a duality in earth life. Normally it don't exist. So
it's we
give people what is, especially when somebody, for me the worst people who say, oh, this is a good person, this is a bad person.
Right.
So, you know, how you measure, what is your intention? How can
it's like you were talking about earlier too. If you're focusing on healing yourself, transforming the inner, that will resonate outward. And I think by healing yourself, we're healing the collective.
Exactly.
Because if all 8 billion of us stopped focusing on all the problems of the world and just cleaned our interior,
you see,
then we would have the omnipresence to say, I need to clean my room and my home.
5-6 years ago, I was talking like this. Oh, look, nobody see this and that out in the world, and so much pain and so much suffer and this and that. Now I don't speak anymore.
No. Because what is that going to do? It's going to bring your vibration down.
It shows just in which state
you.
of conscious I am in this moment right now, because it's really similar. You have like a list you can, which this different states of awakening, and really everybody goes through these same steps,
right?
You know?
And it's never ending.
It's never ending, and this is what makes it beautiful. And you know, people who go through this, look, when I met new people here in the community, I already know, because they are there. The people, they see me, I see them. We look in their eyes. It's so like, oh my God, you know this, and then
we're
hugging
home,
and loving,
yeah.
and it's, you don't know who is this person, but it's pure love. And you know, I think this is the right way. And when we focus on this, it grows from itself.
Right.
And there is no rush.
No.
Absolute no rush, because
what's been super powerful, sorry to interrupt,
mm-hmm.
people come, they are a part of something that is family, and it inspires them to create something like this. So we're starting to see more of this in the city just by taking action upon what we can control.
I call it planting the seed of love. So
Yeah.
everywhere you go, you plant this seed, and it's so beautiful. This was my opinion, to travel the world,
Yeah.
live everywhere for a while, and plant the seed of love. And after 20 years, it's like a beautiful flower bush grows all over the world, and people connect, and exponential. This is the best thing. At the beginning it's slow, but then it gets faster and faster and faster.
I feel like we are on the precipice of a true dam breaking, and love is just ready to
Yes.
shower the world.
Exactly.
And there's so many things, distractions that are taking, if we allow it, our awareness from embodiment of love and all of the things around us. The stuff that happens with the women in Iran, then the stuff that's happening in Africa, things that are happening in China, things that are happening, natural disaster, this, that, the other. It's like these little blips, like you said, something good would start to happen in your life, distractions are going to present themselves. I was just talking about this the other day. God will tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. I'll start doing it. Life will present me with an opportunity. It's a disguise. Like this shiny object, which it takes me back to Adam and Eve.
Uh-huh.
God told Adam and Eve, you have everything. We, right now, have everything. But there's this one thing that looks great, and it's going to give you all the power. And when I look at our phones, it's an apple with a bite out of it. We have everything we need to live spiritually fulfilled lives. There are shiny objects all around us that will fill our pleasure, that will make our mind substantiated with our wants. But I think the true evolution of mankind is happening, and we're seeing it. We're on the front lines. And for us, especially as men, to heal and to hold space as this divine masculine, which is going to come into this next question of what does divine masculine mean to you? And for people listening, men listening, what is a way to, in Ephesians 6:11, we have the full armor of God. We have the breastplate of righteousness. We have the helmet of salvation. We have the sword of the Holy Spirit. We have the belt of truth. And we have the sandals that take us on a path less traveled. What are practices that you embody for your spiritual welfare, your mental welfare, and your physical welfare? And how do you find that there are distractions or things that present themselves to take you off of that path? And do you think that is the same for all of us, or do you think each of us have an individual road that we must learn on our own?
Definitely, we have everybody at individual road. We have to walk and to grow. I love to repeat the words from Dr. Jordan Peterson. You should be a dangerous man. You should be a monster, but you should learn how to control it. And this is for me true masculinity. Masculinity is be able to protect your family, to protect your lovely your friends, and take responsibility for things that you do, but especially be strong in mind and body, because and health, because these are aspects our society try to kill the real man, the strong man, because every alpha man are able to change something.
Right.
So lead people, infect people with something. The more of these people are, the more in trouble gets the system.
Right.
So training, especially weightlifting, is since 25 years a main part in my life. I was always addicted to muscles and to strong people. It starts when I was a child with He-Man, all the movies, Arnold, Sly, Van Damme, and all that stuff. Because you see in the movies what these guys do, and it was always okay. I also want to do this, and subconsciousness you included with the muscles. So I found out your optic is very, very important. So it shows you who you are.
Yeah.
So I was always feeling like a warrior. When I was looking to this movie, especially the kung fu movies and all this stuff, it was like burning inside of me. I see myself doing this all the time, flying through the air and this and that and bam, 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 bam. When I was watching these Viking movies, when they was running with the axe sleds and whoa, I was goosebumps, and I was like inside of this. I see myself screaming, boom, boom. Later, as I was talking with the medium, and she told me about because I had two issues. There was two issues in my life. I had a problem with eating, so I was eating always very, very fast without chewing, just really. So a burger in 2 hits was gone. Yeah. I was really fat as a kid. So
Wow.
the second, but I had this problem until 2 years. Yeah, it was very, very. And then I had a problem with my father. So these two aspects. After the conversation with the medium, what was, in my opinion, so powerful, showed me that in my past life I was a slave, and this slave needs to eat quick, because when he don't eat quick, he don't gets nothing
Doesn't
to
eat.
eat. It was a lot of slaves, and who eats the
Fuck.
first? So, but
Mm.
in the same aspect, the man bought me as a slave was my father in my life now. So he was in the past life the man who hold me as a slave.
Oh wow.
And this makes so much sense to me, because I was always with my father in a very, very difficult relationship since I was a child.
Mm.
Um, and there was moments when I was telling my father something, and I know I'm right and he's wrong, but it was very, very. He gets always very upset. Whoa, what you know? You think you are smarter than me and all that stuff. So it was very rough.
Yeah.
And later she explained me it was the reason because in the past lives he was rich, but he was not educated. He couldn't read. He could this. And me, as a slave, I was kidnapped from a king's family. So I was a king, a king's child, very strong, very powerful, big. With 16 years, I was uh, kidnapped and sold for him as a slave.
Wow.
So I could read, and I was educated. And when I was want to show him something, he got upset, and it everything was, it just makes click, 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 click,
Right.
and this time. So yeah, now let me think. Yeah.
That's. I mean, the whole aspect of the past lives is so fascinating to me. Of like whether or not the people in your current life followed you from your past life, and like you're interconnected to the people, your family,
Yeah,
your
and
significant
sometimes you
others,
don't
things like that. It's
you
definitely something to pray on and uh, converse, because I think it's a very interesting topic. And
yeah, back to the spiritual and the physical training. Meditation is new for me.
yeah,
So I know about meditation for years, but I was never able to use it because there was too much anxiety, too much. It was not able to sit for 1 minute on a place and
yeah,
try to. It was horrible. So now it's beautiful. It works. Everything. The cold plunge.
There's nowhere to go but in.
Last year, this was like a breaking point in my life.
Yeah.
This was really open unlock something, and physical training for me is like addiction. So I was addicted to drugs back in the days. So, and I found out we are people all addicted to something.
Yeah.
Because
people hear the word addiction and they get
yeah,
triggered.
Yeah, of course.
Because of the fear of their own addiction.
Exactly. You know how much adult people are addicted to their phones, and when I explain them that you are similar to a heroin junkie, I mean, it's the same, just you don't stick it in your arm, but it's the same neurons, receptors, and it's the same chemical process what's going on in your body. And then you see how tricky it is, to speak.
And the importance of looking yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, what am I addicted to?
Exactly.
And being okay with what the answer is.
So, exactly. I was never hiding something, so I was a person, I was,
you were on your sleeve.
I was give up. So I was always doing things I want to do, and I was nothing hiding. So for me it was okay, everything. At one point I was also proud of this lifestyle I was living in the past, just partying and all that stuff. But now, in 2 years I get 40, and I see myself with 50 in a better shape than with 20, So now
let's go.
Yeah. Now it's a main part, and I can't imagine not to lift weights or to train or something like that. And especially meditating and breath work and inner work is what I want to optimize and
like my yoga teacher tells me, breath is food, and the things that you do is what you consume. So thinking of food as our fuel, the things that we do are also our fuel. So when we're putting time and energy towards shitty food, consuming horrible things on our phone and on TVs,
exactly,
the community that we're around is toxic and pessimistic. The thoughts that we have are going to be a direct reflection of all those things.
And this is what I currently saw in the end time, because it's like this. Everybody is a good person and a beautiful soul.
Yep.
Just in a different state of conscious, and it blockades you when you are, or when you need to surround yourself with this kind of people, but you are in a different state of conscious. So it holds you back to go forward in the next level.
Yep.
This is why it's so important, and I feel by myself more and more, because I was very addicted to Instagram scrolling. Just this scrolling that
Mindless.
You scroll and then you see yourself, what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And you try to stop it, and then 1 minute later you have the phone back in the hand, and you start, okay, wow. Now I start researching. Now I start reflecting. Now I want to know what's going on and all
Have you
this
seen
stuff.
the documentary? Gosh, what is it called?
A Social Dilemma.
Social Dilemma.
Oh my God! And the funny thing is, we have it already. So just people look at it and people watch it.
And they still go back to their
you
addiction.
watched it, mm-hmm, cool, okay, yeah. And what? Yeah, but this is, people see I'm addicted, right. And oh no, I can put it every time away. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, there is so much going on. Much going on. Not just the phones, the medications, alcohol, pornography. All this is made that people lose their minds, lose their connections to their soul.
They're in their mind, and they're distracted from their soul.
Exactly, because how you say what is in your thought become your reality.
Yep.
And I saw that. I saw it from dark place in your mind brings you to a dark place in real life, and I was in really dark places.
I mean, that's where I believe fear comes from, is when you're not listening to your soul's yearning. Your fear is God or spirit gently reminding you you're here for something much bigger than what you're doing. And that's where anxiety starts to come in. You're anxious because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then anxiety leads to the poor decision making, which then leads to trauma, which then leads to more trauma, and then it leads to this snowball effect, like your cousin who killed himself, because you're in a point that is so low and there's no longer a connection to spirit.
Exactly.
I can't think of a darker hell than that.
It is. You know, it's really dark.
Yeah.
It's really dark.
But the beauty in it all is that God gave us the tools.
The free will.
Exactly.
And you know how you say every morning you wake up and you have this air in your lungs. It's for a reason.
Yep.
It's for a reason. And I mean, I know how it feels like to end this life.
Mm.
But
I mean, that's something we didn't really talk about. You said twice.
Twice, and I was young. I was very young. Once I was maybe 12. Wow. I want to jump from the window. Somebody catch in the last moment, grab my hand, and then in the second time it was like 16 was the classic teenager, because I was a fat teenager.
Yeah.
And no woman, no girl was interested in me. Yeah. All that stuff. I was crying when I was staying in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
So I took pills and go to bed and hope I don't wake up. But
God obviously had a plan for you.
I didn't know it was not. I didn't know that the pills was not enough. But you know, just the intense.
Right.
That you are so sad and so, because I was mobbed. Then my own father was not accepting me because he was thinking I'm not his son. My mother has with somebody else.
Right.
And so no hold from no side. No, so there was nothing.
Right.
And the only hold when I met my best friend, in the age of 9 years. It was like I came in this new town and everything, and we know each other from handball. We was playing handball, but then I moved in this town where my parents got a new restaurant and stuff, and there was he living. And I remember this. It's always hard to come in a new class. Everybody's looking at you, and I was changing off the places, and the door opens, and he looks at me and smiles and took on his plate, sit here. Can he sit here with me? To the teacher. He was my best friend. We were spending every day together, and he died in my arms when we was 18 with a car accident. 20 minutes before he tell me, let's change the seats. It was with two cars. Yeah, we changed the seat, and 20 minutes later, the car where I supposed to sit, came up from the street with 250 miles and destroyed, complete. He was so hard injured that I tried to hold his, but it was not possible and all that stuff. So there was a couple times in my life, I had an overdose and drugs and stuff. There was a couple times where I should die, but it's not my time,
right.
You know. And back to a very, I think, important experience was when he died 2 days after. I was in my room. I was crying. I was I was very, very sad. And at one point I felt how the couch goes down. It's like somebody sits down, and I feel that. I recognize it. I stopped crying. And I was thinking, it's him. And I felt this hand on my shoulder, and it was so, all this sadness and all this was away.
Yeah.
And so
I feel like you have a lot of guardian angels.
I have 12.
You.
I have 12.
Yeah. And that's something that I, in coaching and in guiding people, the tools that we need are with us at all times, and God is with us at all times. And when we feel in our lowest, and when we're on our knees and we're suffering, so much of it is because what waits on the other side is beyond what we can even begin to imagine. But we have to get up from that place. And the aspect of why this on my heart was so important to create community, and why starting this podcast and having conversations with people, and why doing what I do professionally, is because when we're able to hold space for ourselves, God starts to bring the people that are supposed to be in our lives into our lives. And the guardian angels that are watching over us are like the winds at our sails. And when we trust that we're being guided towards our purpose,
it's a constant communication.
Yeah.
It's just how able you are to see, because I believe in angel numbers and also animals and stuff. When I see and I
There's
see
divinity.
it, it's
So
amazing.
much
And everybody who see these numbers at one point knows. Okay, when you start reading it and know to read it and stuff, it's amazing, because it's like a guide. It's really a guide what you can use to choose the right decisions.
right.
If you know how to read it and how to listen to it, it's amazing. Everybody knows it. When you leave you leave your flat, you look at your sunglasses. One voice say, "Hey, take it with you. You will need it." And you say, "No, I don't need it." Why you say? And every time you need it. So this is this inner voice. What see the future already. You just need to listen.
Yeah. That's powerful, man.
It
And
is.
I think it's, when I think of doing the right thing, it brings me to a time when early on in our friendship, you came to a potluck, and, normal potluck, beautiful setting. And I have very, very good discernment when it comes to energy. Everyone who comes into the house, I make sure that I see them, I greet them. Potlucks usually have anywhere from 30 to 50 people, so it's high energy and there's a lot of movement. I think I may have been outside. Somebody came into the house that shouldn't have been in the house. All of a sudden I hear Steven come up to me and say, "Hey, Miha's looking for his phone. Have you seen Miha's phone?" And I remember having seen someone sit outside that energetically, immediately I knew this person shouldn't be here. I walked up to him. "Hey, how are you?" No eye contact. "Hey, how are you?" And it was just like a quick, "I'm good." And he had a plate of food. And we're a loving community. You're welcome. All are welcome. But if you can't look me in my eyes when I'm talking to you and you're in my home, we have a problem. So I looked at him and I said, "Hey, what's your name?" And it was very softly spoken. And I asked him who brought him, or how'd you hear about this? And I won't mention any names, but it was someone who I had some questions about prior, but it seemed as though she meant well. And sometimes people are a little rough around the edges here in Los Angeles. You got to have love. But using discernment, I asked him, I said, there's an importance. I spoke it straight to him. There's an importance of when you come into someone's space to say hello, introduce yourself. If you're going to grab food, this is a potluck. We ask that people bring things, or they donate, or so moving forward. I just set the ground of this is how you enter into our home. Set the container. Shortly thereafter, Steven says, "Miha's looking for his phone." I immediately start looking for that man, and he was gone. There was a moment that I have been healing rage within me that was passed on from my father. And this is a whole nother podcast episode where I was abused, and I had a choice to either continue that or end that. And in that moment, someone came into my home, and a friend of mine had something stolen from them. It's one of the only times in this space that something like that has happened. I had that moment where I was seeing red, and I wanted to go find that man and get your phone back.
So,
I want to talk about this because you are
very...
someone who embodies a Viking spirit. I mean, your Instagram handle it's got the word Viking in it. And I thought you would be someone who would have been riled up and you would have been bloodthirsty. You helped me in that moment to see my own spiritual practice still needing work. I wanted to go inflict harm on that person for doing something that was not supposed to happen. So I just want to ask you,
I feel you. Likewise.
What was that experience like for you? And can you explain a bit on the moment when you and I tracked your phone, went to the car, knew that the phone was in the car, and you made a decision that I thought was very angelic and helped me to see the healing and the work that I still had to do on my anger.
So, I mean, first of all, we had the same intention. The same intention because I know the people who was there for the potluck, and this was like in the first second, boom, okay. It's very, very strange, but okay, maybe it's a friend. Also, all this and also how the people was reacting when my phone was gone, because my first intention, my phone is stolen, because it's, your beliefs, your experiences, how you think and see the world, so you project your world with your experiences and your programs. So but everyone else, you and the other guy, so hey, maybe this is a mistake, somebody took it, and everybody was like this, nobody couldn't believe that something like this was happening.
We were
and
shocked.
me same. I
was like, it must have
yeah.
been misplaced.
Normally I'm not. Yeah, so because I'm also from a complete different background, I was a long time in the bouncer scene and stuff. So I didn't have problem to punch people in straight in faces and stuff like this. So
I can imagine.
the thing is, I needed my laptop because the only thing to find is to track. So I was driving with the girls, bring my laptop, we tracked it. I saw it moves. We'll see. We go there. So I drive.
And just to give a little bit of a
yeah,
backtrack,
yeah,
you left the house with two girls who were at the potluck.
Exactly.
Because I thought if I went with you, it would not be good. And God didn't let me go with you.
Exactly.
Because if you and I would have been there,
and
I don't think it would have been good.
And I told you, you don't need to come with me. I do this. It's no problem. I do this. And I was driving there, and I said, it was like in a movie. I'm in the back with the GPS, and we see, okay, next left, right, left, like.
Yeah.
And then I really see this guy there standing with this old woman.
The woman who was at the house,
yeah,
and the man who was at the house.
I think it was her son.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I see them both, and when I saw them both, it was clear for me that they worked together, because she was very quick there. So I said to the girls, I'll be right back, wait here. And I jumped out and I walked to him, make myself big, and I screamed, hey, give me my phone back. And I said some other things, and then he punched, he also grown up and said, I should be careful how I speak in front of the lady. And I was thinking, as I'm in the wrong film right now, and I was looking left, right, there's some police somewhere, because I was ready. I was ready to go on, and then I start realizing, because I looked at his face, and he had these yellow eyes, and I look at her, and I was like this laughing, so like now I get what I want, and I was thinking about, wait, this is exactly what they want that I do. Now it's up to me. And it took me a minute. I was just staying in front. I look at the girls, I look at them, I look at the girls, and I was thinking, and I would say, okay. I turn I just turn, go back, and I was thinking, what other options I have? Call the police. I learned here.
Yeah.
It's they are here just for the real stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a phone. It was just a material thing,
Right.
I mean, I bought this new iPhone 13 when I came here. And then I also tried to figure out, is it maybe I need to let my past go, because all the numbers, texts, pictures from the past, but I need to cut my past off. There is no past anymore. There is no past. And so different things in this time, to try to understand why is this happening to me, because it's a beautiful place, and all the people, why me? Why? Okay, maybe some karma is also open, and everything comes how it should. Sometimes complicated in different aspects at one time. So yeah, it was just for me clear, okay, and it took me 2 months. it took me 2 months to swallow this pill.
Yeah.
I was every day in the morning, I wake up, poof, laptop open, and I see where my phone is moving. And every time I think, now I go there. And it took me 2 months.
Yeah.
What you saw, I was a little bit distancing, but this was nothing with here. It was just my own cleansing, dealing with all this stuff. And I was a little bit depressed. Also, I had no phone. It was difficult. No. But everything makes sense now, everything makes sense. And you said it's so good, and you helped me because I saw I had more intention, what brought up, and this wakes your intention up. So I was the one who put the gasoline in fire, just with the energy who comes up. I didn't speak a lot, but it's the energy. And when you feel this energy that you are ready to destroy something or to hurt something or something like that, and somebody has this inside, because you was also I feel
ready.
you. Yeah, you was. I feel you. And when I saw you, and especially also the guys looked at you, but nobody says to you, "Hey, Kyle, no," or something. It was a communicate. We was communicating with each other without words. It was amazing. It was amazing. Everybody was.
It was a divine moment.
Yeah, it was really, really powerful. And so that's the story with the phone, and to control myself, because 2014 I had a accident when I was a bouncer. The man almost died that I punched, because he attacked me. But this was the same. I had myself not under control, and then this time I really was Jew. So what he started, it was like a mirror,
Right.
And it was for me a good reflection to see what I'm able to do when I let this go, because I think this experience helped me a lot, because it came up.
For sure.
This person lays for 4 weeks in a coma and need to open his head and all that stuff, just with one punch. One punch can kill somebody if you have this intention inside of you of a warrior, So I know what a warrior means, and
just like you said about how Dr. Peterson said, a man is a wild, raging animal that is tamed. Exactly. And in that moment, you tamed your rage and were able to see this person is suffering, and me adding to their suffering is going to have me suffer. And yes, in the small few weeks where you suffered because of a loss of a physical thing, your spirit wasn't suffering in the long run, because you were able to overcome your past.
Yeah, exactly. It was not just the material thing, it was also the ego. So do you know who you took the phone inside? All this bullshit, how you say, ego fantasies. You are some,
unfuckable with.
Yeah. So and all this stuff, and this is, I think, the greatest challenge.
Yeah.
Because it's like somebody beats you. That's
right.
But nobody beats you.
Right.
You beat
you.
Exactly.
Or you overcome that egoic voice, and you're able to see it for a tool, because we're no longer living in primitive times where if someone took your food or took your belongings, that's your livelihood. It's ascension, and I think what brings me back to the reason we're having this discussion is this spiritual movement that we are all going through together, and the podcast is called Fearless Shepherds. So to be fearless in the shepherding of your spirit, and realizing that in that moment you had a choice to either continue cycles, and that's it, or break them.
This was my greatest realization. So the first time I stand there and really in the past was like this, emotions was doing my actions. There was no space for emotion, feeling. No, emotion, boom. Yep. And in the most case, the emotion was always explosive, you know.
Right.
And in this case was really okay. I have now the choice, and I know what's the right. I already know it, but it was so powerful. This scream.
It's a moment that you will remember forever, because I will remember forever when I had that moment with my own father, of this overwhelming feeling of spirit, like just pouring over me, of calm, rather than reacting in rage, which I have only known my whole life. We had this moment, which to me is where the divine masculine starts to come through, because we've only seen toxic masculinity in our lives and in our culture
Exactly.
all of our existence.
That's
Our
amazing.
generation, and even some of the older generation, is showing it, and it's always blips without, you don't want to broadly generalize anything, but our generation, there is so much divinity coming through the masculine and so much healing that's taking place, that it's opening up a portal of possibility,
Oh, of course.
where we see a world where men are healed, which gives space for women to feel safe,
Exactly.
which in turn allows this harmonious connection to happen between families and between community and
The
between
balance, you know.
creativity and between creation, which makes me just, it's such a beautiful moment of divinity to see that even on, a path that I'm on where I feel as though I'm spiritually there, a moment like that will show me I have a long way to go.
Same, and this is why it happens.
Right.
This is why it happens, because I believe there is no end with knowledge. So when you think I'm done,
You've got a long way
there
to
is
go.
no done. There is no done.
You got to trust the process and realize it's God's timing, not ours.
Exactly. And you said so good the word toxic masculinity, because I know exactly what it means, because I was surrounded with men who think they are real men, but they are all hurt children.
Ooh,
And
that's a hard one for them to hear.
especially the ones who beat women and think they are strong men and all that stuff.
Those that
So-
abuse children, those that beat women, those that prey on the weak, those are the most hurt children
Exactly.
of them all.
Exactly, and this is why I understand
Yeah.
why people, this is for me, and I told you, especially the coaching and mentoring scene business, it's so important that we have a lot of different coaches in different ways of life, how you say,
There can't be.
life types,
Yeah.
know. So somebody who come from a, I don't know, I said a very good house and everything good. It's hard for the people who grow up on the streets. I would say, some, to listen to this guy. Everybody speaks about the same, but you need to find your frequency, and
sure.
I think it's more and more people. There was bad man or become good man
And teach others about where they came from and how they got to where they are.
exactly
Yeah, I talk about that all the time, of the importance of us
true masculinity.
realizing the importance of masculinity, and then the perfect world is more people stepping into coaching, mentoring, teaching. There needs to be more men's circles. There needs to be more sacred areas
Of
where people can
course.
come, gather, and
Of
share.
course, and
Because
people
it's healing.
just 1 year ago, and this shows how fast we're changing right now in these times.
Yeah.
So in 2 months the world can be completely different, because 1 year ago a lot of people was laughing about all the coachings and all the people who 23 years old and he's a coach and he know what's going on. But this person with 23 years has maybe experiences as a child or something like that who nobody has with 60, and
Who are you to judge someone? I think
exactly
when you have a finger pointing, you got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself.
exactly. But it just shows people who really want to help, they don't have the financial aspect in the front. And we need to separate the coaches who want to make money and coaches who want to heal the world or heal themselves, because true healers heal themselves with heal others, so it's just a retreat.
I had a big conversation. I'm a part of a mastermind and I'm mentoring for it, and we were having this conversation. A friend of mine is in the same line of work, and we were talking about how when you're focused on money, it takes you away from the act of service. Completely. Because you are focused on something that has nothing to do with service. The more you focus on the service, the more that money just starts to flow into your life.
The flow. So money is energy, comprimated energy. When you do something for the great of the general, or for the good for the people, money is automatically a product what comes back, because when your intention and a person feels that when you really want to help them, and then they understand and come and say, look, I was collecting 2 years my money to give you this money because I know, and this is the right way how the money comes, because the people are when somebody don't want to give money because it's too much money for me.
Right.
It's all the mindset what makes these differences.
Totally.
And when you have people who wants to give you this money,
that's the awakening we're going through as well, is a new way of discussing money and the relationship that we have with money.
Exactly.
Because it, like you just said, it's a direct representation of your energetics and of the relationship you have with your heart
and your belief systems.
Without doubt.
Because people think money is bad. Rich people, well, the more money you get, the more problems come.
Yep.
I was thinking the same way, and I was seeing, I had times where a lot of money comes in my life, and this money goes so straight. Okay, just, and I was blockading.
Yeah.
And it's so easy when you just open, and what you do with love, money comes automatically.
That's why I'm so in love with Jesus' life and his teachings is, there's so much scripture around money and the way that he talks about money. And it's not that he was speaking of money because he thought from a godly standpoint that he needed to speak about money. He saw how important money was to us. So to speak about the ways that we use money, it can be such a great tool.
Of course.
That helps us to serve more.
Oh, look what beautiful things you can do with money.
Yes.
You can build shelters for people, for animals. You can save places, community. All this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just about how you are programmed.
Yeah. And that leads to the final question, which is, you just spoke about creating sanctuaries, and for me, creating community. And I'm even looking into starting a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Ways that we can serve more, create more awareness around what it is we're doing, and involve more people into this movement. This is a long conversation, so you just share briefly what it is that is on your heart for Mihael in spring of 2023, and kind of your vision for the next 3 to 5 years of this healing journey that you've been on, the inspiration you are as a physical specimen, but as a spiritual specimen as well. What does life have in store for you over these coming months and years?
So the next coming months will be on fire, because I'm on fire.
Let's
like
go.
Like never before. And when we go back just last year, you saw I was not in this shape as I am now, or in this condition.
For those of you that are just listening, Miha is a specimen. This guy, I walk into Gold's Gym in Venice. Big shout out to Gold's Gym. That place is awesome. And it's you have a radiant energy that beams off of you.
I'm that. I don't go in 1 hour in a fitness training. I live. That's my life.
That is
I am body.
I am that.
Oh,
that's so fucking awesome.
This makes the difference. And I'm not. There are also different people what inspire, and it's beautiful how you say that, and I feel that how other.
Real quick, just a quick backstory. In our backyard, if you've been in the backyard, we have an area that we have our Olympic lifting set on, and the ground was super uneven. And we were like, fuck, we're going to have to hire like a landscaping team to come and even out this land. Miha comes over, grace of God. Kyle, what can I help you with? You just came over to ask me what you could help with, which I have lots of friends. There's very few friends that would do that. I say, well, I'll help you out with this. And you're like, no, just give me the tools. This will be done in a couple hours.
2 hours, I said.
Yeah.
And it was 2 hours.
You leveled the entire earth. And I just wanted to say, like, only you could have done that. You moved the entire gym system. And
because I always train when I work. So I never... It's a different mindset when I move, and I always say the more you know, the faster you go. So I was doing this kind of works before. I know what to do. So I visualize this in my head, all the steps. I boom, boom. I know the time. Boom, boom. It happens. It's just it's a working mentality. You know, you say you said, you do it, and it's done. It's simple as that. And I want to give something back. This was the only intention. It was for me.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It speaks to your character.
I mean, we will train.
I think some community workouts are definitely in the foreseeable future.
Definitely. Back to my goals in the next couple of months. Definitely be a part of the healthy community and do my part as much as I can. As you know, Muscle Beach is a special place for me, so it became really a home. So, and I met the people there who... one of my friends, he's 82 years old and trains for 62 years on this place, on the same place, and this things that me inspire, you know, and. I want that the people have the possibility to come back to their real nature, to the movement, to the joy, to this fun that they had as kids. Because when you are on Muscle Beach and you look, no matter if it's tennis, basketball, Faustball, no matter which sport, the skaters, everybody has joy, fun, and this is a spirit. This is a comprimated energy there. Yeah. So this is why I feel so good there. You know, I was in all kind of places, training different places, but this place is an energetic field, like Gold's also. Yeah. So I will definitely bring my workout programs to the people and try build more my coaching business.
I love it, man.
The next month.
You got a client in me, brother.
Thanks, man. The Viking workout is it's nothing for so you are definitely the right person, because it's just mind. It's the will. Yeah. I always said the willpower. You don't need to be body strong. You need to be strong in your mind, and then your body became strong. And
you have to enjoy the discomfort. You actually have to seek the discomfort.
You need to love the pain.
Yeah.
You know, this is people, it's more and more comfortable, you know, more and more invasions. What makes people more comfortable? Don't move, you know, you can sit and drive in these things, and you don't need to go. It's not good for you.
Right.
You are made for moving. You are made to use this body in every kind of form, and this body can make such amazing things. And people don't even. The biggest
shame is if you don't see the fullest potential of your body.
Exactly. And look good naked is for me one of the greatest richness. You can buy. You can buy this. You know, I know people. They have a lot of money, drive big cars. You know. But I don't see them naked. I don't see them in the pools or something, or to the ocean, or they need to go where nobody see them, you know. And then it's for me something is not right. Right. If you love your body, it's okay. But I was oversized. I would say fat as a kid and as a teenager, and I know how I was feeling in this body. Right. How heavy it was. How everything with issues you have with clothes and stuff. So when people tell me, hey, I'm happy, I love my body. Yeah, there are people outside, they are very oversized and they are dancers and they move and you see in their faces they look happy, but 90% are not happy.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to take his time. And I always say it's never too late to do the right. So, and when you're really interested, the first workout is always for free, just to show you, if you want this really, I will help you.
Yeah.
But you need to want it.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Right.
So.
That's incredible, man. And that's, I mean, at the basis of that, it's service. You want to serve people to be their optimal selves. And that's a big reason why I got into this overall coaching. It's not just physical for me, but it's just you get to know people to their core and you get to understand what makes them jump out of bed in the morning, and you help them to integrate those things into their lives so that they're not dependent upon you, but they can access you as a tool for inspiration, guidance, mentorship.
Of course, it's not a secret that trained people are much successfuler in life.
Without question.
It's the energetic profile you send out. So you get compliments. People want to feel safe with you and all that stuff. So, and then they say, okay, they just look your body. No, it's not just your body. It's the energy, what comes out from this earned body,
Definitely can't be bought.
Exactly.
And it's one of those things too, that our bodies were meant for work, and so when you're releasing endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin in ways that are natural in movement, your mind is clearer. You're able to meditate. You're able to pray. You're able to move much freer in the mind, which then allows your body to be this vessel for spirit to flow, in which case, when you're led by spirit, your life just starts to become this beautiful symphony of your absolute purpose.
And and especially that you see what is able, I'm always inspired by the past, always, because I don't see in this time, you have it, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman. Yeah. That's our names because
lightweight.
But it's the mindset behind it. That's really warrior's mindset to able. Who trains 6 or 8 hours a day with heavy weights?
Very few.
So, and when you look at the statues from the past, from Da Vinci, and how these bodies was looking like, this not comes from nowhere. No, it's come from constantly pressure moving on the body creates this beautiful muscles.
Yep.
As simple as that. And
we are the sculptors.
We are the sculptors. And, you don't need to do this, but we love this. We love this. We love spend the whole day there, whole day training. And it gives us also a feeling of power, because you know how strong you are.
Yeah.
You know what you do every day. So when people ask you why you do this, and the simple question is, I want to be prepared. That's the only reason. You never know what's gonna happen, and
so
to be in the perfect condition, your body always
prepared for anything.
You're prepared for everything, no matter what happens.
There's no curveball that can be thrown.
And that's it,
Amen.
Amen, my brother.
I appreciate you taking the time to just share your story, and you're such a beacon of light, brother. I'm excited to grow the brotherhood. I'm excited to continue to shine alongside you and just find ways that we can collaborate and share our light with the world.
We already find, and I want to say thank you, Kyle, for taking the time and give me the time, especially because I was not ready. Especially I have a little bit my English is much better, brother. But there is a little bit space for more. So, and then we can go much deeper in some other conversations. But this the most important thing is love. There is just one love, and when you feel this one love, everybody is your brother and sister and mother and father, and there is no separation.
That is the religion that I believe in.
Exactly.
And the God that created us is bringing us back home to that understanding. And that's my whole goal with the Spirit movement, is to bridge the spiritual community, the religious community, and the community that's in between, that is questioning it all, because all of us are trying to find our way back home.
Exactly. And it's so beautiful how you said it. It's no matter which religion or some. This is really an open place for everybody. And this shows, I met here people who have different beliefs, but there is no separation. It's just about, currently we are in everybody in a state of conscious, because this is the best thing we can interpret, but maybe in 2, 3, 10 years it's changed.
Things change. You have to be ready for those changes too.
And also be open and accept people who change constantly, and because this is the main part also, what people, oh, you changed, thank God I did. You know, it's the worst thing.
In absolute, they're stuck in a space that doesn't allow them to evolve.
Exactly, because they don't know.
Right.
They don't know.
I'm going to say a prayer for us as we sign off another beautiful conversation. God, we welcome you into this space. We welcome you into our hearts, our minds. We're grateful for our spirit. We're grateful for the many, many words that you're able to flow through us as we talk. And we're able to see each other through these vibrational words. We just got to share our story. We got to hear each other's hearts. And I'm just grateful that you've brought a brother like Mihael into my life to show me so many different lessons and to teach so many people who have listened of what it means to go through life, of how there's ups and there's downs, there's highs, there's lows, there's times of great victory and there's times of great defeat, but to keep going, to show up. I pray that each and every one of us are able to get up out of bed and to see how blessed we are, no matter the situation that we're in, and to just look at you for any guidance that's needed, and to look into each other's eyes for that glimpse of God, for that glimpse of you, that we're able to empower one another through each other's embodiment, through the lives that we lead, the practices that we embark upon, the words that we use. I pray that we start to really understand the vibration and the energetics of every aspect of our lives, that we're able to see the food that we eat and the content that we consume and the thoughts that we have and the eyes that we look with and the way that we just treat each other with this compassion, this love, this respect, but also this discernment of holding each other to a standard that is godly, that is of ascension, that we're able to ascend together and that we're able to let go of the wheel and be led by you. God, I pray over this home that you continue to bless it. I pray over all that come into it, that they're able to feel your spirit as they leave and that they're able to bring that spirit into their lives and the people in their lives. And I pray for this year as we're heading into spring, that all the seeds that we've planted, that they blossom and they flourish, and that we're able to see more opportunities for us to serve and more opportunities for us to follow the path that you are guiding us towards. I pray for health for both Mihael and I, that we're able to be victorious, that we're able to be fearless, and that we're able to show the world what an embodied divine masculine is. I pray for his family, his future family. I pray for my family, my future family, and our lives, that they're interwoven towards a harmonious bridge of heaven and earth. Anything you want to share?
It was so beautiful, Kyle. I have just say thank you, God. Thank you that you brought me to this place. Thank you that you give me the power and the endurance to hold on. Now I can see why. Thank
you. In your precious name, God, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Another episode of the Fearless Shepherds podcast comes to a close. You can catch Mihael in the streets of LA, West Side. When you see him, you'll know, the Viking warrior. How can people find you? What's the Instagram handle?
I have 2 accounts. So I have a sport account. It's The Viking. And
The Viking.
The Viking.
I love what you said of I am. Or what'd you say? I was like, you're in the gym and you said, that is me.
That's me, yeah. I not go to a workout. I am
the workout.
Exactly.
So The Viking.
Exactly. That's my sport page where I just speak about sport and bodybuilding. And I have a spiritual account that calls Maximus Consciousness, where I try to express my way of life and what I see, what I learn, and I try to share this with people. And yeah, if you are interested, follow me and
see you at Gold's.
Yes.
And stay posted. The healthy community. We're gonna have Mihael in here leading some stuff. And yeah, I'm grateful for a brother like you. So let's continue to shine. Let's continue to be victorious.
Brother. Thank you so much for inviting.
It's amazing how quickly conversation goes when you're speaking about life and God. A lot of these questions that can spark fear, spark judgment. That's what this podcast is all about. And really, that's what life is all about, is to step into faith with a yearning for knowledge. So if you want to learn more, if you want to donate to the cause, my name is Kyle Cassidy. I am the founder of the Fearless Shepherds, and I cannot do this alone. So I would love to hear from you more. You can follow our movement on Instagram or TikTok at Fearless Shepherds. My personal account, Kyle Cassidy Fitness on Instagram, or shoot me an email, spiritmovement3@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. God bless.